If you follow my channel, you know that I'm a huge fan and supporter of homebrew video games, brand new video games being made today for vintage video game consoles. And I'm very excited about today's video because today we are going to talk about a homebrew game for the Game Boy Color made right here in Portugal. And greetings YouTube gamers, welcome to another episode of Retro Raider. My name is Johnny Retro and welcome to the channel. That's right, I have it right here. The game that I have for you guys is called Escape Obliterizer. Weird name, but it's a thing. It's here and it's on a physical cartridge. Now let me jump to the main focus and points of this video. Now this game is not the most spectacular game, most impressive game for the Game Boy out there, and I'm going to share gameplay footage. I'm going to show you guys the game running on the original hardware, but the point of this video is to tell you guys the story behind this game and how I got to know about it. Now first things first, this game was a collaboration between three friends, three game designers during a 48-hour hackathon in 2016 by APPens. And to put you guys into context, let me explain what APPens is all about. APPens is a technological event in Coimbra, Portugal, where the goal is to create an app in 48 hours. This event gathers students from several technological areas as well as entrepreneurs and high-tech enthusiasts. So this game, Escape Obliterizer, was a project on that contest. And although this game is already 3 years old, here is how I got to know about it. So this was 2 weeks ago, more or less. I got a DM on my Instagram, a DM from a guy called João Godinho from Tangible Games, and on his message he told me that he was a fan of my channel, of my show, and he knew that I'm a huge sucker for bootleg compilation cards. So he sent me a photo of a huge pile of compilation cards, and he told me that he was using them for a project, but things were not working out, I guess. And he told me that he didn't have any use for them. And yeah, he said that he knew that I love this type of stuff. He knows that I collect these bootlegs, and he wanted to donate them for me. So we changed information, we talked a little bit, and I went to check out his photos on Instagram. And I noticed that he had a couple of custom cartridges for the Game Boy. And that's when he told me that this was a game that he worked on, and he was going to print it on a cartridge. So I guess that he was going to use these bootleg compilation cards for printing, but somehow it was not working. But I asked him, well, can you tell me a little bit more about this game, because I'm a huge fan of homebrews? And he sent me a link to this website called 9 Studios, and 9 Studios is actually a game development studio. So I played the game for a little bit, it was fun, it was okay, and I will leave all of the links down below for you guys to check it out. And I just had to ask him, well, can you print this on a cartridge for me? And a couple of days later, I got the bootlegs and this awesome cartridge right here. But this is not the end of the story. So 1 week later, and this was last week, we got LGW 2019, Lisboa Games Week, the biggest gaming convention here in Portugal. So at the event, I went to the press area to meet a friend of mine, Eduardo Rodrigues from Café, Mais, Geek. And Café, Mais, Geek is a project, a website with a bunch of information about pop culture. So there you have, video games, of course, retro video games, anime, books, a lot of stuff. And the team also has another event that I attend to this year called the Mais Geek, which kind of translates to the geekiest day. So anyhow, I was talking to my friend Eduardo there, and we were talking about, the retro gaming area of the event, about video games, and he told me that, well, I've actually worked on a homebrew game a couple of years ago for the Game Boy. Yeah, and guess what, guys? The game was Escape Obliterizer. So from there, I understood that Eduardo was a good friend with João from Tangible Games, and yeah, everything just clicked. And that's when I said to him, well, dude, I'm going to make a video about this. I really need to share your work with the world, with YouTube. So he shared a lot of background information with me about the game, how they made everything. And keep in mind, guys, that this game was made under 48 hours. This was a hackathon. So Escape Obliterizer is a simplistic HTML5 game where you play as Dell, a small green square being that must survive the longest while avoiding getting obliterized by the incoming lasers and bombs. So my friend Eduardo was the responsible for all of the design work in the game, then João Godinho and Marco Santos did all of the coding. And Marco Santos is on 9 Studios. Again, I will leave the link for you guys below, because in 9 Studios website you guys can actually play this game for free. And yeah, 9 Studios is a small indie game developer based in Portugal, and a fun fact about the website is that the logo on the website is Dell. from the game. I also asked about the name of the game because, let's face it, it's weird, funny and weird at the same time, Escape Obliterizer, and Eduardo told me that that was the starting point for the game. It was actually the name. They had, this word, Obliterizer, in mind. They didn't know what it means, and I guess that they just stuck with the idea, and I think it sounds cool, actually. And this is it. This is the background story of the game. I think it's funny. But yeah, the game was not supposed to be released on the Game Boy, so this work right here is all thanks to João from Tangible Games. Now, they told me that they are going to make a very, very limited print of this game with a custom translucent cartridge, and they are also going to include a battery so we can save our progress, our score in the game. But this is just going to be, a homemade project, and they are not going to sell it to the audience, to the public. I think they just want to have, a physical copy of their work, a thing between friends, if you will, and I do understand and respect that. And I feel very honored and humbled because what I have right here, guys, well, this is a prototype of the end product. As you guys can see, this cartridge is not translucent. I don't think if this is the final version of the label, and this also doesn't have, the battery, so I can't save my score with this one. But I have it, it's right here. It's a homebrew game from my country. And now, well, I'm going to share a little bit of gameplay with you guys. So yeah, let's pop this sucker in and flip the camera at the Game Boy. So here we are, guys, and I'm going to use my Game Boy Advance SP because I think this is the best way to play Game Boy games on the original hardware. Of course, this is just my opinion. We have our cartridge here of the game. So let's pop this baby in, and I do hope that you guys can see this. Here we go. There's the title screen right here, right there. And yeah, this is just a very, very basic game. And let's give it a shot, shall we? So as you can see, we have Dell right there in the middle. And we just need to use the D-pad, nothing else. And the game controls pretty well. Have some cool sound effects, and the whole point is just to get the highest score possible, and you just need to avoid the lasers and the bombs. That's pretty much it. And again, I know that this is a very, very basic game, guys, but keep in mind that this was part of a contest, hackathon. This game was made from scratch. From the very, very, first small idea in 48 hours, and I just lost. There's my score right there. Let's give it another try, shall we? And you know what? This game kind of reminds me. I just lost. This game kind of reminds me, Atari 2600 games. It definitely has that vibe. And I think that if somehow they could print this on a Atari 2600 cartridge, this could be a very, very cool and impressive Atari 2600 homebrew, in my opinion. But yeah, fun game, addictive, yet simple. There you go. I just want to show you guys one last thing. Right here in credits. Let's see if you guys can see. There you go. The team behind the game. Marcos Santos right there. Eduardo Rodrigues and João Matias Godinho. Just a nice little extra touch to the game. And, once again, the whole point of this video was not to, not to just talk about the actual game, and gameplay, or the cartridge, or the fact that, this game is available, or at least it's right here in my hand on a physical cartridge running on the original hardware. The point of the video was just to, to share the story behind this, because I think it is a very cool one. Another thing, as you guys can see, I was playing the game on the Game Boy Advance SP. Of course, that the cartridge also works on the classic Game Boy Color, and it also works on the Super Game Boy add-on for the Super Nintendo and the Game Boy Player on the GameCube. And this is something that João, no, the guy, once again, the guy that printed me the cartridge, he didn't knew about that. He didn't test it out on those add-ons. But there you go. It works. It's a thing, and it's right here. Escape Obliterizer. And there you go, guys. This was Escape Obliterizer, a homebrew game for the Game Boy Color developed here in Portugal. I will leave all the links down below for you guys to check it out. Shift APPens, Tangible Games, Café, Mais, Geek, and 9 Studios. I want to thank and leave a huge shout out to the whole team of this game. Special thanks to João Godinho from Tangible Games for the prototype cartridge. I'm going to treasure this, believe me, my friend. And yeah, thank you once again for letting me share your story. And just a quick message to you guys in the crowd. If you are a game designer, if you're developing homebrew video games, well, let me know. I would be more than happy to share the word about your work, because yeah, I'm a huge fan of homebrew video games. I think that this is the most beautiful thing that we can do for these old video game systems, because you guys that are developing new games for old video game consoles, you are keeping these consoles alive. And also let me know, guys, what did you think about Escape Obliterizer, and feel free to share other homebrew games that you guys know for the Game Boy. This was the video, guys, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to put a like on this video, please subscribe to the channel, and take care of yourselves, take care of the gaming community, and game a lot.